Alrighty, welcome to the Bear's Den. And today I just wanted to talk about something that's kind of instructionally motivated or related. And that would be about learning how to play the bass line that goes, like the walking bass line that goes with a set of chord changes, like a jazz standard that you want to play. So, if you're much of a jazz listener or player, you'll be aware of a song called All the Things You Are. It's one of the Dirty Dozen. If you're going out to jam sessions, it's one of those songs that you have to know, right? And it's got some interesting chord changes. It's in the key of A flat. And I won't bore you with all the discussion of all the changes, but the big thing is to blow through the melody. Like that. So that's all the melody thrown at you at warp speed. But here's the thing. So if you want to learn the song to be able to improvise over it, you got to learn the bass line. The reason I say that is I have a good friend of mine, a guy named Mel Drybread, who's one of the best musicians I've ever known in my entire life and one of the greatest bass players I've ever had the privilege of playing with. And Mel once said to me, he said that walking a bass line is like taking a solo that starts at the beginning of the song and ends at the end of it. And it's a quarter note solo, it's a walking solo. And you have to know the chord changes better than anybody, really, to be able to do that and to make it convincing. And it's like lacing up a song, you're walking through those chords, you're pulling it all together, right? So as a melodic player, we got to be able to do the same thing if we want to be really successful. So you take that song, just playing the bass lines. That's one pass through all the chord changes, just walking a bass line. Now, so the next step on that would be to take the song, maybe slow it down a little bit more. And right now I'm that tempo. So what I would say the next thing to do is, the next step in the evolution of becoming proficient in improvising on that song would be what Herb Ellis once told me. Herb was a great guy. I mean, if most people know him as one of the greatest guitar players of all time, but he was also a really nice person too. I enjoyed getting to hang out with him back in the day. So, Herb has said to me one time, he said, eighth notes were the secret, he thought, because if you could play through a set of changes, playing eighth notes, and never stop playing eighth notes, consistently make yourself play them, stay with them. He said you had to know that set of chord changes. So to me, what Mel said was perfect. Learn those quarter notes, walk that bass line, then slow the tune down a little bit to where it's not too challenging to play the eighth notes, right? Do the same thing again with eighth notes. Work your way through the tune, which that's just a portion of it. So there's another level, okay? Now, and I'm swinging those pretty hard too, and that was something that Herb always would tell you to do. And there's a little trick too. If you'll take your metronome and have it playing on the end of the beat instead of on the beat, it forces you to swing. It's a mental thing, but it makes you swing harder. Now, so we're going to take that and we're going to go to the next level of this. We're going to start introducing different rhythms into it, and we'll keep it at a nice manageable pace. Like, so you're basically playing it now with various rhythms, and so you're having to really be aware of the chord changes and the structure, because you're having to squeeze maybe a few notes in there that were maybe more complicated 16th notes possibly, or weird triplets, or some kind of a tuplet, which might be 5 notes squeezed into 3 beats or whatever, something like that. I like to do that kind of thing. It's kind of my part of my deal. So I would tell you that at this point, you're really getting to where you know the song quite well, and then you can kind of start cutting loose and working on building up the tempo and playing it at breakneck speeds if you want. And always remember this: if you can play it really, really fast and clean and accurately, faster than you need to, then when you get to in a situation when you're playing with somebody and you're doing it at a tempo that's less than what you've been practicing, you should be pretty comfortable playing it, right? So it's good to play all variations of speeds too, though, because if you play it really slow, it's a discipline exercise. Helps you keep your time real steady. And it's good just to vary it up, because you don't want to get set in a groove where you're always playing something at the same tempo. Because if you always play it at the same tempo, it tends to make like a mental fixation on that tempo, then you're not able to vary it if you're with different people that you're playing with. And elsewise, the other big thing is just have fun. Try to get creative. Once you get the melody where you know it real well and you know the changes real well, then start experimenting. See how far outside the box you can take it, So, but have a good time with it. But that's my thing right there. That's my take on how to learn a song, to really know it. Learn the melody. Got to know the melody. So if you don't know the melody, it's not a good thing. So you got to know that. After you know the melody, you want to be able to walk a bass line through all the chord changes comfortably without having any issues. Then, slow it down, start playing eighth notes. And once those are swinging and feeling good, you can bring the tempo up a little bit back to where maybe you started with the quarter notes at. And then start adding variable figures, rhythmic figures in there, to where you get really comfortable with those. And the last thing to do is just start working on getting the tempo up towards pretty much a breakneck speed, but you're comfortable playing it. All right, so, and the big thing to do is have fun, right? Go out there and have a good time. Play some music today. Put a smile on your face, and maybe somebody else is going to listen to you play. Maybe they'll be smiling too. We hope so. All right, from the Bears Den, you have a good day.